Hello and welcome to Wild on 6TV, the Oxford channel. I'm Sasha Norris, and if I seem a little bleary-eyed, you'll have to forgive me because it's 5 o'clock on a Sunday morning. Am I mad, you may ask? Well, today I'm making a pilgrimage from the southernmost point of Oxford, just outside the Ring Road, all the way up the Thames and up the Cherwell to the northernmost point. Why? Because spring proceeds at walking pace across the country. And we're just into May now, summer are coming in, and I'm joined by some wildlife experts who are going to spot all the wildlife we can see through Oxford on the way. So let's go meet them.
Okay, it's about 5:04, it's so early. Ian Smith is about to arrive. I've had 3.5 hours sleep. I think Sasha might be still in bed. I did shout, give her a shout. But that could mean the door just had knocking, so we might be in trouble. Let's see what we can do. Hello.
What a terrible mistake, Ian. I didn't, yeah, I think.
Are you pissed?
No. No, I just got up and it's 4 in the morning.
This is
Right then.
Good morning, welcome to Wild.
Coffee, Scott.
Please. It's dawn already.
What?
Birds are singing.
It's dawn already. Right, forget the coffee. We gotta go. Ian Lou Lewington is our bird brain today. Lou, what can you hear?
Well, initially I can hear sedge warblers, wren, robin, great tit.
You're the reason we've got up at dawn today, aren't you?
Don't blame it on me.
Yes, you are.
Rebunting. I don't
Because
know if the camera's picking up all this, but it's all that I can't see them. I can just hear them.
you can hear them because it's all there because you wanted to hear the dawn chorus.
Oh,
And
yeah.
here it is. I mean, it is. We got out here, and it's incredibly loud, isn't it? Actually, it's like a riot of sounds.
It is, yeah. It's difficult to distinguish all the different birds. I mean, there's so many loud wrens and robins that they're sort of drowning out all the others. But it's just a matter of sifting and getting your ears attuned and cutting out all the things that you know.
Cut out the car on the Ring Road there. We're at
Yeah.
Iffley Meadow, southernmost point. We're walking straight north. Is there anything here particularly that is unusual, or?
No, it's just riverside. The riverside, woodland near riverside is a great place for dawn chorus because you get lots of different habitats, and because of that, lots of different birds. So, like I say, these lovely meadows here full of sedge warblers, rebuntings. It's a cacophony of sound.
Cacophony.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks, Lou. Caroline, southernmost point of Oxford, as we're defined by us. What have we got here?
Absolutely. Well, most of the flowers are as bleary-eyed as we are because they're trying to keep their pollen and their nectar for the insects that are going to come out later when it's warmer. But this really bright, jolly thing,
Yeah.
this is common wintercress. It's a lovely colour, bright lemon colour, and you probably know this when it's very much smaller because it's one of the components that you sometimes get in mustard and cress.
Oh, okay. And is it? Can you eat it?
I wouldn't eat it at this stage. I wouldn't eat anything quite so near what looks like a lamppost, especially if I've got a dog with me.
Louis, what's she saying? Okay, and you were saying about the flowers being bleary-eyed. They're closed up, are they? I mean, how does it work?
No, these are open, which is
Yeah.
one reason they're one of the few plants I can show you just at the moment. But you can see from the buttercups that
They're dozy.
these are dozy, and they're dozy because they've got nectar and pollen in the middle, and they're going to want to be pollinated by insects, and the insects are cold-blooded, so they're going to want to be up and about when it's a bit warmer in the day. There are a few other things around. This is a lovely little plant here. This is called ground ivy,
Yeah,
though
ground
it's
ivy.
not an ivy.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Beautiful blue.
Is it a legume?
No, it's not a legume. It's a labiate. That means it's related to the mints. It doesn't smell very much, but in fact this was one of the things that people used to put into beer before we had hops.
Oh really? Why was that? What is it? The flavour?
To flavour it, to give it a slightly bitter flavour.
Brilliant. You're brilliant. Well, you're our botanic brain for the day. Right, let's go, Lou. Shall we head off? We've got a long way to go before we sleep, Lou.
No, I just wondered, are we going that way?
Oh, are we going that way?
Yeah.
Excellent. Right, apparently this is north. Got a sedge warbler.
Yeah, yeah. Have you used your bins? Have you got your bins?
Yeah, I have. Is that the... You can see it, can you? But
Okay.
is that what we can hear?
Initially I can hear it. Most of sort of dawn chorus is done on sound only.
Is that
Particularly when it's dark.
chippy, choppy?
Yeah, it's a very sort of
erratic.
scratchy little warble. But it's just flying left.
Squeaks.
See it flying left
Oh,
there
yeah,
over the
yeah,
grass? Yeah. And there are a few out here. But perhaps we'll get better views of them later.
So how many miles to go, girls? Girls and boys?
You tell us.
Six
kilometres.
kilometres, we reckon, don't we?
Yeah, about that.
Oh, we'll do that by
A breeze.
mid-morning, won't we? See?
Well, we've done
So,
30 yards
yards.
in an hour.
Yeah, we better get going. Come on. Toad flax.
Ivy-leaved toad flax.
Yeah. And why is it here?
It's here because it likes old walls, old brickwork. This isn't very typical. Normally you'd see it growing out of a wall. It's actually a plant from the continent. It's not native to Britain, but it likes hot, dry walls, and when it seeds, the little seed pods curve inwards and go into the little cracks between the stones.
Do we know why it's called toad flax?
Well, some of the bigger examples of this have thin greyish leaves, and they look like some of the flaxes.
Right.
And toad is a rude word that suggests that a plant isn't actually much use. You can't make
really?
material out of toad flax.
Right.
It's like cow or dog. Sorry, dog. And we'll see some
What
other...
prefixes of cow or dog or toad
Yes.
infer that actually isn't much use to people?
That's right. And I'm sure we'll see some cow parsley today.
Interesting. Okay, let's go. Just to prove that it really is 5 o'clock in the morning, because you don't get frost in the day in May. No. You get it early in the morning. Is this normal to have frost?
Fairly usual, yes. Frost in May.
Frost in May.
Yeah. We mentioned that some plants have prefixes that suggest they're not much good for people, and I said there's also, as well as toad, there's cow and hog, for example. This is cow parsley over there, otherwise known much prettier way, Queen Anne's lace, and not out yet, there's hogweed. Those are in the same family. And here's another of our 3 buttercups. This is the meadow buttercup, taller with much more finely cut leaves.
And cow parsley is very common, isn't it? And it's referred to as Queen Anne's lace because when Queen Anne travelled the country, it was lining the roads, which it does now, doesn't it? We see it all the way along the roads.
That's one explanation, probably the best one, yes.
Good, I'm glad I came up with the best one. Off we go. Come on, Betty, are you a bit tired? So the 2 that have just gone off are feral geese.
They're grey lag geese.
Grey
yeah.
lag geese.
Yeah.
Do you think they've gone feral? Do you think they're actually they're living wild now? They're breeding in the wild?
They breed thoroughly in the county, but if
Are they not a wild species?
yes, but they're not. It's a sort of grey area.
Grey area?
Very, yeah.
Grey lag goose,
Yes.
yeah.
We get some wild birds from the continent in the winter coming into eastern Britain and Scotland. But the birds, generally the greylags that we get in Oxfordshire, are not real greylags. They're feral.
They've been released.
They've originated from a sort of semi-domesticated population, and similarly, the Canada geese, which is just down here.
Canada geese, so we had two different species.
Yeah, but again, it's not a native bird, so
No.
they're not plastic, but they're as near to a farmyard goose as you can get. They're only just as a legitimate British species. They're similar in that respect to mute swan. There's never been a true purebred wild mute swan that's been recorded in this country, other than the birds that have been introduced. That's a little tiny bird with a beautiful song.
Huge voice.
Yeah. There it goes.
This is a wren.
Almost the smallest
Shouting.
bird in Britain,
Yeah.
with almost the loudest song in Britain.
And there's often an inverse relationship between the colour, the brightness of a bird, and the sort of fabulousness of its song, isn't there? Because, like a wren is a classic example. It's a little brown
Yeah, like a nightingale. Yeah, little brown
job that sort of skulks around in the undergrowth.
Yeah.
Troglodytes
Yeah.
is its Latin
Very
name.
good,
So it means that it sort of lives in tunnels.
Cave
doesn't it?
dweller, isn't it?
Cave
Yeah.
dweller. And yet it produces this fantastic
Yeah,
song.
and the brighter birds don't need to.
They're showing
Well,
off in their colours.
Well, as far as mate attracting goes, their colours, but their song is all about territorial, distinguishing their territory from someone else's. So.
Yeah. So it just goes to show that you don't have to be like beautiful. You can, as long as you can sing well.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the moral of that story, isn't it?
Particularly in the dawn.
We've come off the river in search of an elusive grasshopper warbler.
Yeah, I've just heard it in this area of reeds and rushes and sedges. It's not calling right now. It's a bird that you really rarely see. The grasshopper warbler is named after its call. It's sort of incessant sort of. Just goes on and on like that.
Like that.
But this one hasn't gone on and on.
How long did it take you to learn all of the different subtle
And
calls?
sedge warbler singing over here. It's just a matter of growing up with someone. My father, that's the best way to learn songs, going out with someone that already knows them. And there are other ways you can learn from tapes and recordings.
But once you've heard them and someone's told you, it actually is difficult to forget then.
I think so, yeah.
It's like learning someone's
Yeah.
voice. Am I waxing lyrical?
That's rape. One of the problems is that it's really quite a vigorous plant, and you'll find it in all kinds of habitats across the countryside, and here there's just a bit of it down the river.
So this is rape that's escaped from a field?
Yes, it is. You can see how it's dwarfing the native plant in the same family. There's just a little bit of the cuckoo flower down there,
Is
the
that
lady's smocks.
Right. And that's a native.
That's native.
Look who's coming.
Who's coming?
Another ornithologist. I'm outnumbered.
This is another famous ornithologist.
Not famous.
What have you spotted?
What have I spotted? Garden warbler, white throat, lesser white throat, sedge warbler,
Yeah.
black cap.
Okay, so Ian, you're not doing too badly.
No. Is there usually a grasshopper warbler out here? We just had a grasshopper warbler behind
Oh,
us.
excellent.
Yeah?
No,
Is that good?
Well, very good.
Yeah? All right.
Yeah. Had two on Burgess Field yesterday.
All right.
Okay, well let's walk, shall we, guys? Yeah, we've got a long way to go before we
So
sleep.
where's the grasshopper warbler?
Yeah,
just
down
behind
there.
Yeah, there's
Got to get your bird tip off now.
Oh no, the track goes round to a gate, and there's one sort of willow out in the reeds, and it was in that.
Oh, excellent.
Oh.
I've not heard one there before.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Crikey.
Nice to see you. Good birding.
Lovely to see you,
Thanks
yeah.
for allowing us to film you.
Right, all the best. Cheers.
But we're just by Donington Bridge now, Caroline, and you said, oh, look at that meadow, look at that wet meadow. What's exciting about it?
Well, just visually it's beautiful because there's this great froth of cow parsley, but you can also see as you look in towards the centre that there's different sorts of vegetation. Those dark stems include a whole lot of docks that would have good seeds for the birds. At the moment it's just nice, there's little bits of emergent vegetation like the very beautiful hawthorn over there, and those are good for birds, and there's willows coming out. You mustn't go too far in because there'll be lots of stuff there, and there's buttercups and various sorts of grass, and it's just a nice bit of damp meadow inside the city limits and relatively unspoiled.
Right inside the city limits, right by Donny Bridge, right. Okay, let's get on. There's so much to see. Lou, there was a heron being mobbed by a crow there.
Herons are often mobbed by other birds, and crows are always going to mob anything that comes into their territory, and that's the crow's nest up in that alder by the looks of it.
Oh, okay, there it is.
And so that heron was just a bit too close, even though it was no threat to the
No actual threat,
crow.
because herons are obviously predatory and eat fish, and
yeah.
they probably, do they eat any small bird chicks or?
I guess if they came across something.
It's all going on because it's spring, isn't it? A lot of it's to do with it being the
getting
spring.
a bit frisky.
Frisky and
Yeah.
mating and wanting to have
Too carried
monopolise
away.
the space for themselves.
Yeah.
Chase everything out. So what's this? This looks like a tropical plant.
It's huge, isn't it? Huge
Lush.
leaves. It's a great water dock.
Right.
And it can grow up to about 6 feet high.
Right.
It's really big dock-like flowers. Almost looks like a rhubarb. And here's another wetland plant down here. This is meadowsweet leaves, and underneath that there's the leaves of angelica.
It's
which is a big
amazing that
herb.
they all manage to sort of cram themselves just along this little ledge, finding places to get their roots in. And
Absolutely, and
Growing.
this is coltsfoot. This is just going over now. It's got fluffy seed heads.
yeah,
So there's masses just in these little damp cracks.
and there's about sort of 20 plants growing in this sort of just 1 metre of riverbank.
Fab.
Onward and upward, Lou. Good boy, Lou, you bring that. We've got these bunches in this tree. What's that about, Caroline?
Well, it's called a witch's broom,
Yeah.
and it's caused by a fungal infection that makes the tree grow in a different kind of way. You can make brooms out of birch, so it's very appropriate to find a witch's broom in a tree you can make brooms out of.
Might you actually chop off this branch and use this mass here as your broom?
No, you'd be much better using the proper branches.
Okay.
This is just for witches.
This is just for witches. Well, that's me then.
Mayblobs,
Kingcups.
marsh marigolds,
Any others?
lots and lots and lots. Just out, huge buttercup flowers, very brassy looking.
They like living in ponds, don't they?
Yes, they'll live actually in the water.
Everyone's favourite pond plant.
Oh, certainly mine. Yeah.
I quite like sitting here, lying by the river. I think we could Oh, we've got some. We've got a long way to go, haven't we, Lou? Got a long way to go.
Halfway yet.
We're not halfway yet. I'm feeling a bit snoozy.
I won't snooze here, I'll fall in and down.
Don't fall in.
Let's put a spurt on.
Have we got to put a spurt on?
Yards, yeah.
Couple of hundred
It is a native plant,
Yeah.
but it's mostly a cliff plant. So the ones you get in Oxford have probably come out of somebody's gardens.
Red valerian.
This is a kind of pinky colour, and the real native subspecies is actually red. It's redder than this.
Is it more delicate?
Not necessarily. It's
No.
a sucking great plant, really.
Is it?
This
And-
is a good specimen.
It's it's a natural form of Valium, isn't it? It's what you can get the drug. You can use it to send you to sleep, valerian.
New one on me.
Is it? Okay, you can make tea out of it,
You can certainly make tea out
and
of it.
it sends you to sleep. It's quite potent, actually. When I was doing my exams, I used to drink it.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, it sends you to sleep. Then they invented Valium, so. Well, it's 9 o'clock, we're about halfway now. We're making really slow progress because there's so much wildlife to see along the way. We're just leaving the Thames. We're going to walk to the city centre over Folly Bridge and head up to Charwell now. But it looks like they've already spotted something.
We've got the grey wagtail.
Oh yeah? Where is it?
On the upturned red boat,
That's what we said we'd see.
just dropped into the bay.
Now we're going to try and warm it up, get it out of the path so it doesn't get trodden on.
He's cold like us, cold and drowsy. Everything's either drowsy in the early morning and cold, or going for it like mad, isn't it? If you're a bird. But you're going to put it on a.
Well, if we can find some holly, I'll put it on holly because holly's flowering at the moment. And these butterflies have 2 generations in a year,
So they lay 2 batches of eggs.
2 batches of eggs, and of course the second batch of eggs
Is laid by
is
the
laid
first
by the first.
batch
Yep.
of eggs.
And holly and ivy flower at very, very different times of the year. So this one will be breeding on the holly,
Right.
and the later generation will be on ivy.
So that's an amazing. So it should be called the holly and the ivy butterfly, really.
It should, but then it's never out at Christmas, so
It would have to sing
waste of a
Christmas
name.
carols.
Yes.
Sing a carol. Just heading past Botanic Gardens, and then we're going to go down St Clements and up to join the Charwell again. But Botanic Gardens is be an interesting place for botanists.
It is. Well, of course, that's the source of the Oxford ragwort.
Ah, yes. Oxford ragwort on the wall of the Botanic Gardens. So we're right on the plain,
Yeah, we're on the plain, and we just
across Magdalen Bridge, and
we just walked past this hedge, and a collar dove's flown out, and it's very poor. Spread across Europe over the last 40 years. 40 years.
Well, we stopped here because up in the lime tree behind us, there's a big dark bunch of mistletoe.
yay!
There used to be lots of mistletoe on a different tree here, a false acacia, and that in itself will tell you that there's lots and lots of different hosts that mistletoe will grow on. And mistletoe is quite a scarce plant, It's a real parasite. It sucks its nutrient from the tree itself, but its stronghold in Britain is on the Welsh marches. And indeed there's a special mistletoe market in Tenbury Wells. But Oxford actually has quite a lot of trees with mistletoe on near the Botanic Garden, so walking through the centre of Oxford is a really good way to see it.
I can't believe this, Caroline, but Lou is doing it again.
He's
Lou,
found something to
what
look
have
at.
you found every time we start rolling? You're just jumping around in the background. Swift.
Well, they've only just arrived. The
I've just
first ones were in about a week ago, and these are probably among the first over Oxford, so
brilliant.
sign of spring.
They're always feeding up here all through the summer. It's great. They fly really high and give that call. Can you do it? Sort of. Yeah.
And when they're all together in a little tight flock, belting along the streets, it's great.
They're great. They're
But there's
catching insects up there, aren't they?
Yeah, I shouldn't think they have much success today.
No.
I think they're attracted by the pub name. It's a Scream. They all do scream round in the evening.
Boom, boom. Right, come on, coffee across the road. Our cameraman will be most relieved, won't you, Scott?